What up, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about crowdfunding, and today I want to get into a very direct video of how Wefunder works. So succinctly, boiling this massive equity crowdfunding platform down, we're going to demystify it, we're going to pull it apart, and really step by step, how can this work for you as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as someone who's trying to raise capital from the crowd. We're getting into that in just a second. All right, so welcome back again to the channel. And if you've been watching some of my other videos, give me a thumbs up so people know this is worth their time, worth a watch. But that being said, how the heck does Wefunder work? So I'm gonna kind of systematically break that down in today's YouTube video. And I've been in this industry since 2012. It's one of the most exciting places to be able to see that equity crowdfunding is now booming. So many people are raising capital from the crowd. And whether that's a startup founder, whether that's a group of people that are working together, a startup founding team, entrepreneurs, investors, inventors, is one of the most exciting marketplaces to be a part of. So let's kind of dissect this and really understand, how does Wefunder work for you? And I'm really speaking to the entrepreneurs, the founders, and the startups in the audience. Okay, so Wefunder really falls under the category of equity crowdfunding. I have a bunch of other videos out there on equity crowdfunding as well, a more in-depth tutorial when it comes to how Wefunder works. But I really want to give you a broad overview. So first of all, if you are trying to raise capital for your startup company, you're typically doing that, for example, in a pre-seed, a seed round, or you might be then going eventually to Series A, Series B, Series C, and thereon. So kind of when you're getting started in the early days, you're probably raising money from friends and family. Maybe you're using credit cards, maybe using a bank loan, maybe you're getting some angel investors or credit investors involved. Wefunder and equity crowdfunding came in as a way for you to use new legislation known as the Jobs Act to be able to raise money from people that are not sophisticated or not accredited investors. So what does this mean for you? This means that as an entrepreneur previously, before the Jobs Act was enacted, and I was actually studying this when I was in George Washington University. It's one of the most exciting times of my life to be able to do that. And this was sort of around 2012, I'd say, really getting started. 2015, 2016, starting to get more and more enacted. And then we started to see more growth of equity crowdfunding platforms. But what this allows you to do is it allows you, entrepreneurs like yourself, to raise money from the crowd and give away a percentage of equity of your company. So think of this as a mini IPO. You're basically doing an IPO where you're offering shares to the public internationally. People can invest in your company, and they don't have to be a super high net worth individual or someone who's an accredited investor who's making a heck of a lot of money every single year. The way that Wefunder works is that Wefunder is basically a crowdfunding portal. They're kind of a platform, if you will, where you can launch one of these campaigns to the public. And not only can you launch this campaign and raise a certain amount of money for your startup company, but they're also going to have tons of people that are part of their community checking out your startup, checking out the different startup companies that are launching and raising money, and evaluating, do they want to invest in yours? Really cool. We live in one of the most incredible times to be an entrepreneur in human history, and as well bring new technology to the masses and make an impact on the world. So again, Wefunder is a platform which you can use to run an equity crowdfunding campaign to raise investment capital from ordinary, everyday retail investors, okay? In order to run a Wefunder campaign, you need to do a couple of different things. The first one is that you're going to have a fundraising duration. This is the amount of time in which you are running a campaign over. Now, based on their rules, typically most campaigns are running at least a 21-day funding campaign on Wefunder, and they're now calling this a community round, right? So there's different terminology that's kind of baked in. I'm gonna make this a little bit more simple. We don't want to get into all that jargon. It's basically a fundraising duration of at least 21 days. Now, you can go shorter and you can close out sooner if you wanted to. Let's just say you raise a heck of a lot of money and you want to deposit that into your bank account. There are ways to do that, but on average, it's at least a 21-day period. I would say the majority of campaigns that I'm seeing nowadays, as well the people that I'm talking about on my podcast, my clients, etc., my coaching students, typically are running, I'd say, at least a 30 to a 90-day campaign when it comes to a Wefunder campaign out there. So you're raising money for your company, you're doing sort of a seed round, or maybe in some cases a pre-seed round. You're probably raising between $50,000 and $5 million under regulation crowdfunding, and you're doing that on the Wefunder crowdfunding platform. So all of this is underneath the regulation crowdfunding of the Jobs Act. This is a securities exemption. Under the current rules at the time I'm recording this video, because it always is changing, as well as some of the rules and regulations with Wefunder, so you'd always check out the most updated information. I'll include a link down below if you also want to learn more about my free equity crowdfunding course and also my book, Equity Crowdfunding Explained. But that being said, at the time I'm recording this video, you can raise upwards of $5 million in a 12-month period, while also being able to broadcast that offering when you do a regulation crowdfunding campaign. There's a little bit more that goes into it, but basically, if you wanted to, you could run campaign after campaign after campaign, year after year, if you wanted to bring in an injection of cash in your company. And I've had people on my podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified, who has raised capital multiple times on Wefunder, who has raised capital on Start Engine, Wefunder, Republic, right? Who've done it on multiple different crowdfunding campaign platforms, as well as run on Crowdcube or run on Seedrs, right? The UK equivalent when it comes to that platform, and then also brought it into the States and raised money here. So there are many different ways you can actually do this. So you need a fundraising duration, and you also need a minimum funding target. This is the amount of money which you need to hit or exceed in order to have a successful campaign and be able to actually close it out and deposit that money into your bank account. So you need a fundraising duration and also a fundraising target. But what the heck else do you need if you're going to be raising capital from the crowd? Well, my friends, like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, you are also going to need a pitch video. Now, people are going to come to me and say, Sal, guess what? Here's an example of a campaign that doesn't have a pitch video that raised $1 million. And guess what? It's also on your podcast. And I'm like, dude, I understand. I am here to share best practices. That's what I do with my book, Equity Crowdfunding Explained. That's what I do with my free course. That's what I do with my coaching, is I try to steer more people and guide more people into a positive direction, okay? So yes, there are examples of campaigns that do not have a video that have raised millions of dollars on Wefunder. That being said, video doesn't hurt, right? It kind of like breaks through the noise. It's a great way to communicate your message. And you think about it, video is one of the most powerful mediums out there today. You, my friend, are watching a video, right? So I definitely would recommend having a video for your Wefunder campaign. You also need a pitch, which is basically text, copywriting, images, graphics going into things like your business model, your target market, unique selling point, maybe your competition as well, or the traction that you've had up until this point in time, the management team, etc. You're going to need to put together a crowdfunding campaign page, which basically then goes on Wefunder. So people are going to watch the video, they're going to scroll down and they're going to learn more about your campaign page. In addition, some people will decide to give away gifts and or perks. There's sort of terminology changes around where, for example, let's just say someone decides to invest like $5,000 or $10,000, which is not unreasonable for a seed investment round, right? With a new startup company. So maybe if they invest $5,000, you're going to invite them to a special founders dinner where they get to actually discuss shop, be nerds, nerd out, right? And talk about the industry. Or maybe if they actually invest just $1,000, maybe they get access to your software tool, or they are able to become a customer of your end product in some way. There's so many different ways in which you can actually reward individuals who have invested in your campaign. And that's another hallmark piece of how Wefunder works. The next part is you're really going to need to have the bare bones information as it relates to the company. I'm talking about things like, for example, the financials of the company, also selecting the investment contract upon which people can actually invest in your company, whether that's a crowd safe or a price round or a convertible note or whatever it is. You have to decide which investment contract you are offering. And around that time, you're probably also doing the valuation of the company, what percentage of ownership that you are giving away, and all that other kind of information, getting the cap table together, getting all of that information together. So you can then present this to Wefunder, you can get approved, and you can sort of enter the next stage. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillment is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The top campaigns use this trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillment today. Link in the description. So, to recap, funding goal, right? Funding duration. You need to have the assets as well ready to be able to upload to the campaign. You need to have the information ready when it comes to the actual company. So this will naturally take you some time to do. And I would also recommend having a solid marketing strategy, because while there are investors that are on Wefunder and are part of this marketplace, it doesn't hurt to also do some of your own marketing to also kind of trick that algorithm a tiny bit. When you start getting funding immediately, you're going to shoot up on the charts, right? Of any kind of platform that you're launching on when it involves crowdfunding. So it does make a lot of sense as well to have a marketing strategy. But the one thing we haven't talked about yet is fees. At the time I am recording this video in my beautiful place here in Miami with a beautiful sun streaming through the window, and I wish I was at a beach, but I'm also kind of excited because I'm making this great video for you guys, and this is my passion and my labor of love. Man, when it comes to fees, for Wefunder, they are charging a 7.5% fee on regulation crowdfunding campaigns. And again, this is at the time I'm making this video. In addition, when it comes to Regulation A or Regulation A+, they're charging a $375,000 flat fee. The vast majority of my audience is doing regulation crowdfunding. I think I've only had a couple of individuals that were really interested in doing a Reg A campaign, and usually you need to have significant financial capital to be able to actually pull off that raise successfully, just due to all of the paperwork, the costs that go into it. It's a lot of work doing that kind of a campaign. I speak a lot more to regulation crowdfunding campaigns because so many of my students are seeing success in that area, and I'm so happy about that, as well as my clients and individuals that I'm working with when it comes to my digital marketing company. So really cool, obviously. And I would say regulation crowdfunding, for those of you to be aware, 7.5% fee. However, it doesn't start anything to actually run a campaign, to launch a campaign. This is only once you are successful with your raise. So we went over some of the bare bones. What else do you need to know about how Wefunder works? So I want to give you two final bits of advice on this video because I did want to keep this one shorter, and then I'll provide to you more information at the end if you are interested in learning more. The next thing that you need is you need an investor marketing strategy. Now, you might be like, Sal, I don't think I need this thing because I'm launching into this marketplace and I have an incredible idea, I have an incredible business, and tons of people are going to discover me and fund me, and I'm going to get a lot of investors. And that's amazing. That's great if you believe that strongly and that confidently in your startup company. And I'm not one to stand in front of you, right, when it comes to that vision. All I'm saying is if you are going to be putting in the hard work to build a fire as a caveman, and you're going to be dragging some logs maybe onto like the sand, and you got to get your tinder and your kindling, you got to make sure the logs are dry, you're putting in all the work, why not make a massive bonfire? Because you've already done so much of the work. Why stop short, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that marketing is a great way to just pour fuel on the fire and to really supercharge this campaign. And why not make all of that input, all of that work that you're already doing, just have a leveraged effect, getting many more people to know your brand, making media headlines, getting people investing in your campaign, becoming an evangelist, saying great things about you, becoming a customer, sharing the word about your product or your service or your company, or you, the management team, being so excited about it. There's no reason not to have a powerful crowdfunding community and tribe on your side. And if all of it takes is a little bit of marketing, why not dig into that, sink your teeth into that, and really go big? The final piece I'm going to talk about on this video is that after you launch this campaign, you go through the test the waters period as it relates to regulation crowdfunding, which is when you can actually get reservations of interest in investing in your campaign, and you go live and you're broadcast to the Wefunder marketplace. You're then basically doing marketing while you are live. You're doing announcements, you're answering FAQs, new investors that are coming in, they might have some questions that you have to answer, right? Or things like that. And you're kind of doing that over the lifetime duration of the campaign. A lot of campaigns nowadays are actually hitting their minimum very quickly. So you might actually decide to do a rolling close, which is where you can elect to receive all the funds you've already raised into your bank account, or you could just wait until the round closes and do it then. In addition, there is an option where you can also extend your fundraiser. So if it's going really, really well, if you wanted to, you could actually extend the fundraiser, right? If you wanted to, and I believe the cap there is 6 months, but you'd have to look more into the depths, but I believe it's 6 months is the maximum duration you can have when it comes to your funding campaign. So if that's what you were wondering, that is the answer to your question in terms of how Wefunder works for creators and for startups. However, I do think there is an important topic, and this is really just for the people that are serious about this or really want to learn it and understand it in a more in-depth way. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna be very transparent, 100% honest. While there are no fees to actually launch a campaign, the vast majority of companies that I've been talking with, that I've been interviewing, that have been my coaching students in terms of the founders or clients, etc., are usually putting a little bit of money into this campaign to stand out. And by that, I mean running things like Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads, working with a marketing company, having a strategic business coach on their side, a crowdfunding coach like myself, drawing from different resources so that if they're going to be spending months to actually execute this strategy, that they're really getting people that know what they're doing and they can also have a magnified effect on the raise. And I think that it makes sense. If you're literally coalescing your entire company to do this raise and you're spending no time like servicing your customers or not time spending building more of your product, but in raising money, why not really make it worth your while and go for that home run instead of just a single or a double? So if you want to learn more about this, I have a free course out there, Equity Crowdfunding Explained, which I will link up down below. Just enter your name and email and you'll start getting some information from me. In addition, for those of you who love learning, you're nerds like myself, you're students of the craft, right? You enjoy sinking your teeth into a good, knowledgeable book to get that right information so you can get there faster and farther when it comes to your goals. Go and check out my audiobook, Equity Crowdfunding Explained on Audible, or grab a paperback version. Great one to have as well. You're reading at the pool or you're reading wherever it is you are, right? Be great to be also read that. And finally, if you're interested in learning more, book a one-on-one individual coaching call with me if you want to talk with the author of this book and of all of this material. I have a lot of coaching students who will come in who are either thinking about doing a campaign, have already decided to do a campaign, or the first campaign didn't go well and they want to kind of blow it up when it comes to their second project. So we talk a lot of brass tacks, we talk a lot of tactics, and a lot of shop when you book a one-on-one individual coaching call with me. This is for individuals that are serious, that are action takers, and are really willing to go for a big vision. Those are the types of people that I like working with. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if you thought it was useful, informative, entertaining, interesting, give me a thumbs up so that other people know this is worth their time. Leave a supportive comment down below. Would love to see you there. And come subscribe if you want more content like this. But without further ado, hope that you take some action this week. And if nothing else, just start learning more. Start becoming a student of crowdfunding. Start really, figuring out, in order to get to this result, which I really would love to have so I can actually impact the world, I can raise funding, I can plow that back into the company, I can hire people, I can do all those things I really wanted to. What do I need to master first? Hope you enjoyed this video. My name's Sal, and I'll see you next time.